it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, another gay gamer video podcast. Do you like my new shirt? It's actually not from my initial run to the Nintendo store. My friend Cam was there last week and sent me a picture and said, "Do you have these?" And I saw this shirt and was like, oh my god, that wasn't there when I was there? What the hell? I need that shirt. And he was like, do you want me to get it for you? And I was like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm going to the dentist in a couple of days, so I can just pop up to the Nintendo store before heading home. And so I did, because I had to have this, because this is just the cutest thing. Look at this. Timmy and Tommy, and they're just peeking out of the pocket, and it's just so cute. So it's like the cutest Animal Crossing shirt I've ever seen. I had to have it. Also, interestingly, they actually finished their bodies and wrote Timmy and Tommy inside the pocket, which you'll never see, but it's just cute. So I hope it doesn't like fade and tear off, because it is kind of like an iron-on that I'm just like, please be solid. But I had to go back because I needed this shirt, and I have no willpower. So I'm just lucky that I was already heading into the city that day, or that week. Otherwise, I don't know if I would make a special trip into the city just to buy a t-shirt. That might be a bit much, even for something as cute as this. Before I talk about what I want to talk about this episode, I did want to just give a quick update on Ghost of Tsushima and my progress there. I did finish Act 2, and I am now in Act 3. And it's funny because as you go to do that final story mission in Act 2, where you retake the castle, the game warns you. They're like, hey, you're about to start a long tail. They call them tales, not quests or missions. Do you want to continue? And I was like, sure, yes, I've chosen to do this, it's fine. And it was weird because the actual mission itself didn't take much longer than other missions. I mean, it was very big and involved, taking the castle back and everything, but like, it was fine. And I was like, why did they say this was long? This wasn't long. But then I realized what it is that particular story mission, once you start it, you can't do side quests, and you are locked into just doing story missions, like one right after the other. And so that lasts for a long time. And then after you finish a specific story mission, then you can go back and spread out and go do side quests and other things. So that was a bit long. So that now I know what they mean by this is a long tail. Also in this particular story, there was a moment that I want to give them a little bit of applause for, because it broke my heart. There was this moment, no spoilers, but I was absolutely heartbroken. It was very upsetting to watch, and I actually welled up, and that's very rare. I don't cry at video games very often. So bravo to Ghost of Tsushima for making me emotionally distraught, but also boo on Ghost of Tsushima for A, doing it in the first place, and B, making it so painful to watch, so boo. But the game is super awesome. I am now at the point where I'm in Act 3, I'm up in the snowy wastelands and stuff, it's all very pretty. But funny because you're like wandering around the snow in like whatever, like casual clothes. There was one, I did do one quest that did take me up a mountaintop, and it was freezing cold all of a sudden. Just on this mountaintop. And you had to go from fire to fire, and if you went too long between campfires, your health would just start to drop because it was so cold. And that got a little frustrating because I would end up dying because I couldn't find where the next fire was, and then I would die and I'd have to start over again. And it was really irritating, but the rest of the time you're just running around the snow and you're just like, la la la, whatever. But I'm now at the point where the next story mission appears to be go and kill the Khan, and I'm like, no, not yet. I mean, obviously it's not going to be that easy. There's going to be probably a few story missions to get you to the Khan, But I'm like, no, I still have a bunch of side quests. I haven't finished all of my supporting cast side missions, and I haven't found all the stuff. So I'm like, I haven't unlocked all the maps, so I'm like, no. Let me finish some other things before I go after the con. Also, I would like to, make sure I've got all the... I've already upgraded my weapons, but there's a piece of armor that I still don't have, so I'm like, let me go get that armor and see if it's any good, and make sure I can upgrade everything as much as possible, and maybe level up a little more, find all the hot springs so that I have as much health as possible, and then I'll go after the con. So that's a ways off. But it's fine because I have time. I don't need to really finish it by November. It would be nice if I could, because in November, mid-November, Sony will be releasing the PlayStation 5. They have a big announcement, and Microsoft also announced their new Xbox models, but I don't see myself getting an Xbox this generation. But that's a conversation for another episode. I want to talk about the PS5 this time. And I know that they kind of borked the launch, like the pre-orders and stuff. Like Sony even went and admitted, they're like, yeah, okay, that didn't go very smoothly. We'll get some more PS5s out there for you to pre-order. I don't really care about that because I didn't want to pre-order a PS5. Like, I don't plan on getting one on launch day. And that's because there's nothing in the launch library that... Like, I have friends who are like, yes, I got a pre-order! And I'm like, what are you gonna play? Like, I know one of them is really excited about Dark Souls, but I'm just like, really? Like, there's nothing in that launch library that I'm like, oh, I have to play that. Except for Miles Morales Spider-Man. And, the thing is that they're making Miles Morales available as a PS4 game. And since this feels like a PS4 game that's just going to be upgraded a little on the PS5 with like better graphics and like faster load times and whatever, I feel like I enjoyed Spider-Man on the PS4 just fine, so I'm pretty sure the sequel is going to be just fine as well, because it feels like it's just a reskin of that, like not a real sequel where they've changed the game engine and everything to make a real sequel on the PS5. It feels like a PS4 game that's going to get upgraded to the PS5. So when it comes down to it, do I want to pay $50 to play it on my PS4, or do I want to pay $600 to play it on a PS5? The math is pretty obvious. I'm just going to spend the $50, thank you. Because I am going to get the more expensive PlayStation 5. Like, when I do eventually get one, I'm going to get the one with the disk drive in it, for a couple reasons. One, I don't have a 4K Blu-ray player, so it would be nice to have that option, to be able to watch 4K. I don't have a 4K TV yet, but I am currently shopping for a new TV. It's an ordeal, but they all seem to be 4K TVs, so I'm like, okay, that seems to be the standard now, so it would be nice if I had a way of watching something in 4K, so might as well. But also, I want to have the option of choosing to buy a game digitally or on disc, because that's what I like having that choice, because sometimes the disc version is cheaper than the digital, and sometimes the digital can be cheaper than the disc version. I just like to have the choice. I like to be able to choose between them. Options are good. So, I'm going to get the one with the disc drive, and also, I feel like if you buy the digital-only one, yeah, it's $100 cheaper, but PS5 games are going to be huge files, bigger than PS4 games, probably, so, like, I expect that you're going to fill up that hard drive pretty quickly as you accumulate games, and you're going to end up spending $100 or more on an external hard drive anyway. Otherwise, you're just going to have to delete old games, which, whatever. I mean, that's what I do on my PS4 right now, is after I finish a game, like before I could install Tsushima, I had to go in and be like, okay, what am I going to delete? Oh, let's delete, Spider-Man or whatever, because I'm not going back to that for, any reason. So I can clear up some hard drive space. Because some of the games take a lot. Like, I remember Grand Theft Auto. Red Dead Redemption 2 took a huge amount of hard drive space. You practically installed the whole game on your hard drive. And I was like, well, what was the point of getting the disc? But then there are games you know, like Tsushima, where it's just a quick little install on the hard drive and then off you go. And it doesn't take up as much space. So I'm hoping that that trend will continue with PS5 games, and while there might be a couple that need huge installs and lots of hard drive space, there will also be some that are just like, just a little bit, and then it's fine. But I don't see myself getting a PS5 until there is a PS5 exclusive that is only on PS5, and it's not on PS4. I don't know what game that's going to be, although it might end up being the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel, because, I mean, I'll have to wait and see what the reviews are like, because whereas with Spider-Man, I feel like it's a PS4 game, they're just sort of upgrading a little on the PS5, the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel, I feel like they were making that for the PS5, and it's going to be like a little bit hampered on the PS4. They have to dumb it down a little to play on the PS4. But we'll see what happens when that actually comes out. That's not until next year, which is why I feel like that's a PS5 game that they're just making available on PS4. And so that might be something where the PS5 experience is legit, and the PS4 experience won't be as good. And then in that case, I will go and get it. Or there might just be something else that comes out, and they're like, hey, here's this PS5 game, only on the PS5, not the PS4, and I'll be like, damn it, now I gotta go spend $600. Oh well. So I don't know if you all got your PS5 pre-orders in. If you did, let me know, what are you playing at launch? Like, what launch title made you say, oh, gotta have that, day one? Because I'm just curious. Because, like I said, there was nothing in there that made me go, ooh. So just let me know in the comments, like, what it is that you're excited to play, if you even did bother. Or if you're like me and waiting for something else, because you don't want to waste that kind of money right now. So, I will see you back here next time, and we'll talk about something else. Bye!